Greetings, fellow men. Servus Männer. This is Red Pill Germany again, and today I want to complete my series so far about the outcome or the aftermath of the Austrian elections. I told you, for example, why the Green Party didn't do so well and what the revenge of some Green Party feminists was on Peter Pilz, for example, but I haven't told you why the strong Social Democrat Party lost so many voters this time. Now, this was something that I actually just recently read about because I don't read Austrian newspapers so much, and there is actually not a lot in English articles or videos to be found out there about this, but it is very important. It's a very interesting story. So what has happened is, I told you that Sebastian Kurz, the conservative candidate, was doing a very right-wing nationalist campaign, and he gained in popularity very, very fast. Now that, of course, put the Social Democratic Party in full-on panic mode. So in early summer, they founded their new campaign bureau in the middle of Vienna. Yeah, here you can see a lot of useless, ugly old ladies who try to come up with catchy slogans and some marketing twist of how to turn around this whole fiasco. But of course, everyone knows that these women can't accomplish anything. So you need somebody with a high verbal IQ. And so they approached one of God's chosen people, Tal Silberstein, or Silberstein or whatever. So he's an Israeli spin doctor and businessman. Now, he worked as a political consultant all around the world, so the Social Democratic Party now asked Mr. Silberstein to work his tribal magic in order to turn around the elections by dirty campaigning, of course. Now, this is what leftists do all around the world. Hillary Clinton did that, and a lot of them do that. So the Social Democratic Party of Austria now planned to create a bunch of fake websites and Facebook pages that were looking like they were made by supporters of Sebastian Kurz, of the conservative candidate, but they were saying really crass things, like they had a poll of whether or not the border crossing to Italy should be closed so that no more illegal immigrants could come to Austria from Italy, so closing the borders and stuff like that. Now, to you guys, that may sound now like common sense, but in Austria this is considered as far right-winged, and the Conservative Party itself would never have said something like that. And just also a lot of other stuff that made them look bad. But remember, this was a fake website put out there by the Social Democratic Party in the course of their dirty campaign led by the Israeli spin doctor Tal Silberstein. Now, this all backfired when in the middle of August this year, he, together with some other tribesmen, was actually arrested in Israel for fraud and money laundering. Now, he is in bed also with a certain Benny Steinmetz, who is involved in iron mining and diamond mining in Guinea. Now, it's so funny that Steinmetz means stonemason, and he's involved in bribing the wives of African dictators in order to steal their natural resources. Now, he calls himself an international Israeli, which is interesting. So he's not an Israeli patriot that I could respect. No, he's an international Israeli. Now, and he's going all around the planet stealing resources and laundering money, committing fraud and all that stuff. Yeah, that's really nice. Very nice. And these are the kinds of people that the Social Democrats were asking to turn around this election for them, this campaign for them, because they were so afraid that young Sebastian Kurz, with his centrist conservative platform, would destroy them in the election. Now, when Mr. Silberstein, together with Mr. Steinmetz, was arrested in Israel, of course this whole operation was uncovered. And the Conservative Party said all along in Austria that these websites are not from them, and that they also don't know who hosted or who created these websites. now even church officials, or not really church, it's the Caritas, it's like some kind of welfare organization that is on the Catholic side. A Caritas spokesman in Vienna, he even said that it is so disgusting and distasteful of the Conservative Party, and people shouldn't vote for them. This is right-wing extremism, blah blah blah. And he totally fell for this dirty campaigning, and a lot of people did. But once the truth was uncovered, the damage for the Social Democratic Party was so great that they lost a lot of voters, and this is why they lost so many voters. So Peter Pilz was the reason why the Green Party lost the voters, and this Silberstein affair here was the reason why the Social Democrats lost so many votes. So, and I don't care if they're like Goldstein, Rubinstein, Weinstein, Silberstein, or Cohen. It seems like with these stories, when you just dig deep and far enough, in many cases, you really find a name like that. And that is something one can think about. Now, it is also funny that this international Israeli says that actually George Soros is behind all this, and it's a campaign by George Soros to get him behind bars, and he's an innocent businessman who never did anything wrong, and evil George Soros is behind it. It's so funny. So apparently he has his own little conspiracy going on, huh? And of course the candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Kern, he says now that he didn't know anything about that, and that this Israeli did that all by himself, and we didn't know about these tactics. Yeah, he was the head of the campaign, he was the candidate, he knew everything about that, I'm sure. And he uses that Israeli now as a scapegoat. Isn't that interesting? So the Social Democratic Party uses an Israeli as a scapegoat now. That is really awesome. And just another comment towards the end. Now, people always say, see, the truth always comes out, and don't play dirty, because in the end the truth will come out and everything will be revealed. And I call bullshit on that. I mean, it makes people sleep at night, maybe, so it is useful. It is also a useful story to make people afraid of being actually found out as a cheater. So that is useful in that way. But the problem is, this narrative, this story, is generally not true. There is a bias. There is a bias that's going on, and the bias is that we only know about these stories once they come out. So we know about a certain amount of stories where this truth has been uncovered, and then we say, haha, see, the truth always comes out. The problem is, all the cases in which the truth doesn't come out and the perpetrators take it to their graves with them, we never know about them. So this is an obvious bias. You don't know how many people cheated on their husbands and wives and they take it to their graves, or how many people actually committed murder and they get away with it, because in rural areas there are not even autopsies. So if it's an old guy and you want to inherit, you don't want to wait so long, or like your spouse is a pain in the ass, you just poison them, it never comes out, you know? So I really wonder how many of these dirty campaign tricks in the realm of politics, for example, were never actually uncovered because the people doing that and their criminal friends were never actually arrested, like Mr. Steinmetz and Silberstein in Israel now. So this was actually a coincidence, a lucky coincidence that this came to light. I really wonder how many cases there are and what actually happened, and we will never know about it. So, and also it is important to bear in mind that this is not just a problem that concerns Austria. Social Democrats are pretty much the same all over Western and Central Europe. They're slimy cucks. They're basically a woman's party and a cuck party, and women use their power over their men basically in order to influence them. So it is a party of fat, useless women and weak, slimy men. And they will resort to any kind of dirty trick now that they realize that their time in Europe is up and their days are counted. And yeah, they will put on a fight, a dirty fight, before they go. And I'm predicting that for the future, that in many European countries, these center-left, not too radical, they're not really communists, but these socialists or these social democrats, it's like the Democratic Party or the British Labour Party. they will play really dirty in the future because they have always been useless parasites and they never had any actual skills. And now that times are getting harder and now that winter is coming and we don't have these resources anymore to give away for long, they will play really dirty because it is a question of life and death for them, I guess. They know that they don't have skills, they know that they're weak, they know that they're useless, they're just a burden on society, but they're used to having all this power. So, yeah, we are in for quite a fight against the social democrats now. So the good thing is that in most countries the working class has noticed that they're a bunch of rejects and that the social democrats are actually the ones who betrayed the working class. So the working class of Europe is looking more to the right side of the political spectrum for useful policies and answers to their questions and their day-to-day problems. So yeah, just wanted to let you know about this whole Silberstein affair because I realized, wow, I did so many videos about the Austrian election and I didn't even mention that guy. That was a mistake on my side. Hope I could correct it with this video. And yeah, interesting times. Let's see what the future brings. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and as always, Servus, Kameraden.